Okay, so here we go. Here's how you make a graphics program in C++. Some of you already done it. You go to Create New Project. SFML is the type of project you want. SFML stands for, I have the website pinned here. It stands for Simple, Fast Multimedia Library. It basically allows you to control your keyboard, your mouse, any kind of graphical details. Okay? The reason why C++ does not have its own built-in library to do that is because the commands to make windows and to access keyboard controls and mouse controls are different on Linux, and they're different on Mac OS, and they're different on Windows. They're different on Xbox and PlayStation operating systems as well. So C++'s whole goal is to kind of say, we don't want to deal with all these like particular cases. So we're going to make our code kind of work on every platform. But if you want to do something like graphics or keyboard or joystick or sound, you're going to have to find a third party that's created something for your operating system. I think SFML is one of the best for doing that. It allows you to create 2D graphics, great website, lots of tutorials on how to use their commands, and everything's kind of laid out really nicely to make a graphics project. So I'm going to create my project like that, save it somewhere smart, call it whatever, Lab 12. Or what are we on, Lab 10? And hit finish. And it'll create kind of like a hello world type program for graphics. If you run it, and it gives you a couldn't find a file thing, then that means you ran it off the Google Drive, and you're going to have to go and watch this video on the stream on how to set it up so that it won't give you that message. Or you can run it from a USB key as well. Okay? But if you're running it properly, following that video I posted on Monday, you will get a little green circle on the screen. Let's go over what that code does and how to get that little green circle, how it got there, how it got to that point. Okay? First thing is we include this SFML graphics library, just like we would include any library for C++ code. The only ones we know so far are IOStream and Math. And now we got one more, SFML. Okay? So what is this first line of code then? It's creating a variable type called render window. It's giving it the name window, and it apparently is creating a window on the screen that is 800 by 600. Okay? So it has made for us a window, a variable called window. Okay? If I go to stop my code here and debug it, I should see this window in my watches command as a variable. So instead of just ints, floats, and strings now, apparently we have another type called render window. Cool. There it is, window. It's got all kinds of stuff associated with it. It's got size, clock, frame, all kinds of stuff built into it. But it is just a simple kind of variable type, maybe a little more complicated. But I can see all the different complicated things I can do to my variable window by typing window and hitting dot. And then all the green ones I can do. They're all commands that belong to that window variable. There's get settings, get position, get size, get viewport. A lot of the stuff we won't use. The one we did have set here is one called set frame rate limit. So there's a command on the window variable called set frame rate limit. There we see it there. It's looking for an integer, okay? So I've typed in 60 on that line to kind of say, make sure my game, my window is going to try to run 60 times a second. Just kind of a roundabout number, because most monitors in this lab refresh 60 times a second. Okay? This line of code, now we have another variable type. It's called circle shape. Okay? So what I've done is I've created a variable of type circle shape instead of int, float, or rect. And I've given it the name shape. Okay? Once I have that variable made, much like string has dot length, string variables had dot length, which we saw, shape has a lot more involved to it. There's like colors, set bounds, set origin, set outline thickness, set radius. There's a whole bunch there. So the first one I did, I guess, was I set the radius of my shape, and I set that to 100 pixels. Okay. The next thing I did was I found a command called set fill color. Shape dot set fill. They all kind of auto type there. They even usually give you an explanation when you type them. And then I just put a color in there. And the way you type in colors in here is you write the word color with capital C, hit colon colon, and you can see some of your options here. Blue, black, cyan, red, green. I mean, I could change the color of this to cyan if I wanted to instead of green. Maybe get rid of this line here. This should run my program with a blue circle. Okay. Okay, great. Next thing in my code is a loop. It's a loop that stays open unless I press the escape key. And it says this is the main game loop. It exits if someone closes the window. Doesn't really say that for me. So this loop here, any code inside of here will run 60 times a second basically. We're not going to worry about this stuff right now. Any code we want to put in this loop, we just put here. Okay. There's only 3 lines in there right now. Window.clear, window.draw, and window.display. Those will put the shapes that whatever we decide to draw, those will put it on the screen. So window.clear clears the screen. We obviously want to clear the screen every time we write to it. If we don't do that, everything will smear. Let's have a look. Let's say I write shape dot, is there a move command? Shape.move, yes, it's looking for an X and a Y value. I'll write 10 here and 0 here for my X and my Y. If I run that, it should move it 10 pixels every frame, so 60 times a second. Whoa, look at that. Okay. If I get rid of my window clear, I'm gonna have a smudge. Whoa, it also jitters too, see that? Yeah, so we do need a window clear. Then we need our window.draw. If you read about it, it says it draws the circle to the video card. It's important that you draw everything at one time. So that's why I'm going to put all my draw commands. If I have like 50 shapes I want to draw, I'll put them all after the window clear. And then at the very end, I'll call window.display, which takes everything from the video card and puts it on the monitor all at once. It's important that you don't draw them as you get to the commands, or else everything will draw at a different time and you won't get like a full picture on your screen. You get weird flashing and stuff. Let's see if I get rid of my window.display. Probably won't draw anything. And it's just a white screen of death. Okay. So, there we go. I got my move, I got my clear. See if you can get that as well on your screen and work your way through Lab 10. Okay? It'll ask you for a few different things. Eventually, it'll try to get you to bounce the ball off the screen or on the screen and get it bouncing back and forth. If you want to see how to do that, just go to my YouTube channel and check out my most popular viewed video. Okay? It's no, well, basically, but it's just a ball. But you could change it to a DVD loading screen if you wanted to. Okay? So check that out. Work on Lab 10 today. We'll also get some sprites on the screen, which are just like JPEGs or PNGs, some images of something interesting. So it's not just going to be shapes. We'll get those bouncing around the screen. We'll get the keyboard involved, where if we press the keyboard, we can move them around the screen. We're going to use like if statements and stuff to get them to bounce. So work on Lab 10 today, and we'll look at Lab 11 maybe after the break. Okay?